They thought they could get rid of us, Artem. And I know probably people are going to think, oh, 30 seconds of Champions League music. These guys really don't have anything to talk about, do they? Artem's probably thinking that intro was way too long. I don't care, Artem. They thought they could kill the Champions League. They thought that. I'm not even going to ask you how you're doing, Artem. They thought they were going to kill the Champions League. What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, I'm just afraid that you just killed our podcast. I'm afraid we're going to get copyright strike. But if anyone can
No.
actually hear from now on, obviously we didn't get striked. But Hanu, there's no day about it. It's your people. It's your Real Madridians. Your Florentino Perez. He's the one all behind all of this.
He is, and he's a big fat nonce, is what he is. He's not even big. He's 5'5". Like it's always the
You know who else?
I don't know why
Who else was 5'5"? Hitler.
who was he?
I don't know, but probably.
Now you're just lying on Perez's name. I've seen so many, but I think welcome to another episode of whatever this is. We're not going to discuss the RPL much. We probably will discuss a bit of it, but everybody knows what the main agenda of this week is. It's been an insane 48 hours, going on 72 now probably. That one day, I think it was Monday. Twitter, the best day of Twitter ever. Tuesday also probably second on that list. I've never seen so many phenomenal memes. Never seen such chaos on the timeline. Everybody became Monday Night Football on that day. Everybody became CNN on that day. It's just insane, Artem. So do you want to discuss the big event first, or do you want to discuss the little mini RPL, the Russian Cup, and then get on like a proper discussion about this?
No. We're going straight into this stuff. I think
Okay,
there's
we're
there's
going straight.
too much to gloss over. I think the RPL can wait because at the end of the day, this is what's grabbing all the headlines, and what has been grabbing all the headlines. Like even me and you on Monday, I remember we said halfway through Monday when it was announced, like look, we need to record a podcast as soon as possible, and then
Yeah.
so much information kept coming out and out and out, and like I'm happy that we're recording now when things have become a little bit more clear because our opinions from that moment probably not on the actual competition would have changed, but on what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's just been absolutely wild. And look, everyone from our listeners knows what we're talking about. Everybody has heard of the ESL. If you've been on Twitter over the last 3 days, you know the whole story. You
Not
probably
even
haven't
on
been
Twitter.
able to take your
If
eyes
you've
off
been
Twitter.
alive, exactly. If you've been alive, you know. You heard from your dog that the ESL is happening. You heard
Exactly.
from somewhere.
Exactly.
You
So
heard
there's
from
no
somewhere.
point in us going into a big discussion, or sorry, not no point in us going into a big explanation of it. We all know what this is. It's 12 teams.
Yeah,
They're all
but
snakes. Six of them are
exactly,
English. Three of them are Spanish. Three Italian. The main guy
yeah,
behind it, Florentino Perez, and the other guy is Agnelli. That's his name
yes,
from Juventus.
yes,
They are
yeah.
the biggest
But
snakes, but everyone of those clubs and their owners are snakes, essentially.
yes, but to truly demonstrate the magnitude of how crazy everything was, right? Sunday night, the information broke that oh, there's going to be an ESL, and Real Madrid were going to play Getafe at that point, and at that point, the match had already become so irrelevant. I didn't even watch all of it. It was already late as hell, so I didn't catch the whole thing. We drew. No one cared. Perez was going to go and announce this stuff. The next morning, it's launched. There is chaos. 12 teams. Everyone's given their statement. It's all going off. People are saying the Champions League is over, and then UEFA come out. They say we're going to ban all the players. The clubs are going to be thrown out of the Champions League. Clubs are going to be thrown out of their regional, I mean their national leagues. They're going to start from the fifth division. It's all going insane. Then Perez comes out and gives an interview where he says he's going to save football, where he says that 16 to 24-year-olds don't watch football, which is as wrong as something can possibly be. And it's all going insane. And I have for a while said, since like 2019, 20, even before that, this thing was not going to happen despite all the plans, and I was gladly proven right. But Artem, just this initial part, right? Now, people say a lot that they lost faith in humanity. It seemed at a point that this thing was going to go ahead, and I don't lose faith in humanity that easily, but this was a point where I was like, man, what's the point? But what is your initial reaction to the European Super League? You can vent, you You can vent now. What punishments do you think should have been given? Just what did you think of this whole thing while it was building up?
Man, I was so angry. Like when I saw it, like I just couldn't believe what was going on. Obviously this is something that I've been talked about for years, but I don't think anybody really thought it was going to materialize. It was just one of those things that were in the distant future, and it seemed like it was going to stay in the distant future. And then like at the weekend on Sunday, rumors started coming out saying, "Oh, they're going to announce this tonight." And then,
Yeah.
like, I actually didn't see that they announced it until the morning after, and it was because they posted it so late. It was like maybe
Yeah.
11 p.m. GMT. And, like, when I woke up in the morning, I was pissed. Like, I
Yeah.
was absolutely pissed. And I spent the whole day glued to Twitter. Like, there was updates every 5 minutes, so there was reason to
Yes.
be glued to Twitter. But I was just, like, fuming. Because I don't think like there's any other excuse for this, and I think it's become obvious that there's no other excuse to create this league other than money and creating money
Yes.
for the owners. Like it was literally nothing to do with the fans. They said it was something like, oh, the fans will be able to watch top players play against each other week in week out. Bullshit. We all know what the real
Yeah.
motive was, and we all know that every single one of those snakes who signed up to it are money grabbing bastards. That's what this is all
Yes.
about. And it really, really pissed me off. And one of the things that pissed me off the most is the time that they announced it. Because when you
Yes.
announce something at 11 p.m. GMT, when every one of these things is happening in Europe, right? You're no
Yeah.
longer catering to the UK audience. You're no longer catering to Italy or Spain. That announcement was made for the United States. At a time like
Only the
that,
United States. You
only
know
the
it was
United
not catering
States.
towards Asia either. You
Exactly.
know it wasn't. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just,
And
it was
yeah.
absolutely outrageous. Like, I don't know. I really could not put into words. I felt like at that point I was finished with top level football. I did not want to watch it anymore. I genuinely said to myself, I'm not watching any of these teams anymore. Like, you will never catch me supporting any of these teams in any game anymore. Because to think solely about money in a game of such
Yeah.
history, in what football is the beautiful game, and it's been known for that. It was a famous game before money got piled into it, and it will be a famous game
Yes.
even when money leaves. And it just
Exactly.
it really really pissed me off. Like I'm sure you were the same.
I was most definitely the same, and there's a few reasons, right? We'll probably get to why this is such a bad idea. I've seen not most people on my timeline have vehemently attacked the Super League, but a few people have said, "Oh, UEFA and FIFA are as corrupt." Which, first of all, they're not. I'm gonna probably people won't like this, but I feel like Cheferin isn't as much of a monster as these 12 people. Infantino is, but I do feel like UEFA aren't as corrupt or aren't as malevolent as these 12 idiots. Then this is a completely closed shop full of 12 bum clubs that think they're bigger than everybody, at least with the Champions League, right? Even with those two extra spots, whatever it is, if a team finishes 14th, it's not going to, I don't care if you're Arsenal, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Liverpool, whoever, you're not going to get to the Champions League even under the new rules, right? Second of all, and more importantly, it rules out the possibility of any club not from the top five leagues ever doing anything. Which the Champions League, even in its most like Champions League, if you're Zenit, there's probably a 1 in a million chance you're going to win it. Here, it's you don't have a chance. There's no chance, and I don't even get the logic that it's going to be the best players in the world every week. It's going to get boring. It's going to get dull. Even the most idiotic casual football fans understand that there is a sense of history, there is a sense of pride, there is a sense of there's a sense of weight to the Champions League, to the Premier League, to all of these things, right? And you're not gonna find Real Madrid, Atletico every single week. If it's you're not gonna find it entertaining if it happens every single week. We care about these fixtures because they happen twice a year, right? Every other then week in week out we're playing Cadiz, Getafe, Valladolid, Villarreal, whoever, and that's what makes it interesting. I don't want to play Atletico every week. I most certainly do not want to see Real Madrid play a club as dead as Tottenham Hotspur or as dead as Inter Milan, right? every week. I don't want to see that. If you're playing for nothing, you're playing for nothing, and we have to respect the people who came out and spoke up against that. Dejan Lovren, respect. Guardiola, respect. Jurgen Klopp, respect. Everyone
And
that said it,
her,
respect. And Herrera, Bruno Fernandes, Daniel Podence, all of them guys respect, right? But the fact, and Perez, speaking about Perez in particular, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've defended Florentino Perez in the past, and I think most Real Madrid fans have. He's been, from purely Real Madrid perspective, he's been a great president, right? Won us the Champions League, brought us back to our glory days. Slightly controversial fella, but not. I mean, he's not done anything which would, apart from this now, which I don't like him anymore. I don't care for him anymore, and I feel disjointed from Real Madrid a bit now. Okay, on Monday I felt so disjointed. I didn't care about the team at all. But the fact that this guy, purely out of greed, none of these clubs are in such a bad financial situation where they're going to like close, shut down if the Super League dies. I mean, if the Super League doesn't happen. But purely out of greed, this 5'5" head ass was willing to gamble 119-year history of a club as great as Real Madrid. He was ready to give up all of our Champions Leagues. He was ready to like have us never participate in the Champions League again. He was ready to get us kicked out of a competition we've won 33 times, which is La Liga. And not just that. I can understand Stan Kroenke, I can understand Ed Woodward, I can understand those guys being idiotic and not caring about the history of the club as much. But this man is a democratically elected president who still has to answer to the fans at the end of the day. And out of pure greed, he went against all of that, created this tin pot league, which was dead in 24 hours. Everybody's pulled out of it now. There's nobody in it anymore. It's not gonna happen. Ed Woodward resigned as United chairman, CEO, whatever. Agnelli's gone, and it's just such a mess. Like I don't care if the Super League would turn out to be good, purely because of the morals behind it. I don't want it to happen, and I'll never support it. But I mean, that was my rant.
that's
But
that's the
it was,
thing.
it
And
was disgusting.
the more information that came out about it, the worse it got. Really, like you mentioned already, these teams couldn't be relegated from this league, so there'd be 15 founding clubs in a league of 20, right? And the only teams that could get relegated are the teams that actually performed in Europe the year before. So even if like those 5 teams that came up into the league came first to fifth, they'd be the ones that would be leaving, and all of these
Exactly.
15 teams would still be there, right? Another thing that like one of the things you mentioned is you wouldn't want to see Real against Atletico every week or whatever. And it's all well and good, like when all of these teams are big teams right now, but they're all big teams because of what they're doing in Europe or what they've done in Europe in the past, right?
Exactly.
If you made a league like this, right, some of these teams would no longer become big teams, although they'd be in the league. It's like in the NBA, right? Not every team is a massive team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One of these teams is going to become Detroit Pistons or someone like that. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
not going to be like these teams aren't going to look as world class when they're playing against each other week in week out. Like, and another really stupid thing I thought was after Florentino Perez came out and said that
Yeah.
16 to 24-year-olds don't watch football as much or whatever. One of the solutions he had to that was to change the game from being 90 minutes long to shorter.
Honestly.
This man was coming in and terrorizing football. Like,
Fam, the memes people made on him, man. First of all, we have to give a special shout out to everyone on Twitter. The memes that came out, man, were simply sensational. I think there was a point where in our group chat with me, you, and Kai, we were sending a meme every minute. New
yeah,
meme coming in from left and right. Everyone was laughing. Everyone was having a whale of a time. So, but yeah, I mean,
but
this thing was. Yeah, go on. My bad.
no, like it was absolutely outrageous. And the problem is when you look at it, the more you look at it, the more problems you find. Like I mentioned before, like one of the things that was probably as obvious to you as it is to me or anyone else is like eventually some of these teams are gonna get franchised out. That's where this is all leading. Like you can't have how many London clubs is there in this, right? 3.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have 3 London clubs in long term, especially if this is for the entertainment of the whole world. eventually it's gonna become LA Arsenal. You know what I mean? Eventually you're gonna
Yeah.
get Dubai FC. Like it's just it honestly,
And
it's absolutely. I honestly don't know how they said that they've been studying this idea for 10 years.
yeah, oh my God, no, yeah,
They
exactly.
said that they've been studying this idea for 10 years. Man, how can you study an idea for 10 years and get it so wrong that it explodes in less than two
So
days? How?
wrong. It's baffling how badly this is the worst executed idea I have seen in my life. And I'm not talking football. I have seen kindergarten children come up with more foolproof ideas than this. Right? I am guaranteeing you, if you got me, Artem, David, Connor, Ilya, Kai in a room for 24 hours, we could come up with a better plan for the Super League. We could write up a better plan for the Super League. Like this thing, right? You would imagine that a man like Florentino Perez, who's been in the game for 25, 30 years, even more as a top level executive, Ed Woodward, Mr. JP Morgan himself, running Manchester United for this long. Man City and the other fellas weren't in it apparently as leaders, but you still have to ask yourself, how naive can you be? How naive and idiotic do you have to be to first of all launch this competition in the middle of the season so that you can get knocked out of every competition you're already in, to have no plan B, to say that you didn't expect any of this? You would have thought for these many big brains to be coming together, this plan would have been sensational. And even if the European Super League was to be there, right, I would have expected something this groundbreaking to have like some mad technological innovations or something just mind blowing. But what's the like even the solutions Perez was coming up with, it was like he was given a minute to think about them. We'll have good referees, we'll train them, and they will have to answer publicly to VAR. We'll have a 55% salary cap so that we can keep the money. It was so badly planned, and it took me a couple of minutes to actually figure out that these guys were really incompetent and not like deceiving us, and not that they had like some evil plan in mind. Like we really have a shot at becoming top level football executives. The average man on Twitter has a shot of that because the intelligence is there, let me tell you. These guys are dumb as hell.
No, the incompetence, like that's one of the
It's
things that you're just
insane.
absolutely spot on about. And honestly, the more you look at things, not even football, I feel like if you look at a lot of directors of companies, like how many stupid decisions do you see being made by like the top people in the company? It's like they just lose like all sense of what the world actually is like. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
it's
it's
yeah.
absolutely insane some of the decisions that some people make, and like this is just an extreme example of that, really.
Yeah. And
But Hanu, like I feel like we've complained about this. Like we've been playing for almost 20 minutes at this point, right? I feel like we should discuss what should these clubs like what penalty should they face for doing all of this? Because there have been a few suggestions thrown about. You know, obviously when this Super League was going to go ahead, people were saying kick them out of the Premier League, relegate them down to the bottom of the football pyramid in their respective countries, kick them out of the Champions League. They probably would have liked that if the European Super League went ahead. Like loads and loads of things were put forward. Like what personally do you think should happen, and what personally do you think is going to happen?
it's a tough question, to be fair. I mean, and by the way, you're talking about franchising. I'm sorry to go back to that, but I'm actually in favor of bringing the football world closer together. Like the Club World Cup thing that they're gonna do, I actually like that idea. FIFA, they were gonna do it in 2021, I think, but they're gonna do it next year now. Getting all of these existing clubs, that's the key part. Existing clubs to play against each other. So Real are playing some Al Ahly or something. I like that. But franchising, absolutely not. That's not the way to go. And you're right, they probably would have done that. As for punishments, I feel like, listen, man, all the punishments they were talking about, I was on board with all of them. Um, Bringing us down to the fifth division, I didn't care. Getting knocked out of the Champions League, that's another thing. The players and the manager had no idea any of this was going on. Like, how cruel is it for an employer to do that? to your own employees. It defies all logic, right?
Yeah,
But I
absolutely.
mean, honestly, I think a points deduction wouldn't be out of place. I think even exclusion from next season's European competition would be out of place. But then that runs the risk of them actually starting this nonsense again. Um, but I don't care, man. As heavy the penalty, I don't care how heavy the penalty is going to be. It's deserved for sure, and I have to respect Cheferin for being as blunt and as outward as he was. He didn't pull any punches. Fair enough. What do you think the penalty should be? Because I really don't know. I'll roll with anything.
You know, when they were going ahead with it, I was just like, take them out of the leagues completely. It'll be such a breath of fresh air to see, you know, football being football again. Like I genuinely thought that, like as much of a bad thing as this was, I genuinely thought it might lead to a better thing for football if these clubs all just became completely obsolete. Like I thought that if somehow, football fans banded together and supported the teams that were left that didn't have these selfish intentions, then maybe it would actually be good for football overall. And if these clubs were relegated to the bottom tiers, then I'd be 100% all for it. Even though most of them would probably come back up as quickly as they could, obviously. But I just I don't think that was ever going to be feasible. Really, I think that the only way that they'd be excluded from their leagues would be if they excluded themselves. I don't think that the leagues would have gone and excluded them really. Um, I think that at minimum they should be banned from European competitions from today for 2 years, like for from this season, next season, and the season after that. Um, which essentially would lead PSG to win it this season, I guess. But
Yeah.
I I think that should be the absolute minimum. I don't think financial penalties are gonna make that much of a difference. I know that the reason this was brought in was because a lot of clubs are, as Perez said, financially struggling, and this would bring them back up. I don't think that like they'd be able to take enough finances from them to actually hurt them. Um, I actually think that what most likely will happen is nothing. I
Yeah.
feel like the UEFA will probably come out and say, like, look, these clubs came
Welcome
to their
back.
senses. Yeah, like it
Yeah.
takes integrity to admit your mistakes. Um, and we'll welcome you back in, but let this be a warning to any club who ends up wanting to move away in the future. Um, like that's essentially what I think is going to happen from leagues. I feel like the Premier League in particular will be under pressure to do something about it, but I can't
Yeah.
imagine them doing much more than taking a few points off each club, which I think absolutely should happen. I think that 10 points minimum. Like a lot of people are saying, like, oh, don't harm the team and the players and the fans for something that the owner did. But like, how many times have clubs gotten relegated because of point deductions because of stupid financial decisions that the owner made? I think that
Yeah.
it's the only way forward. I think that they absolutely should get points deducted from them.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on things. I don't think La Liga or Serie A at the end of the day are gonna do really anything. Um, but I can see the Premier League at least taking some points off them, which it should be the very least. But you know, with
I
these with
think
things like
yeah.
this,
Yeah, I think you're right. I think nothing's gonna happen, and I mean, I guess, but UEFA have to show they can't bribe them. Some people are saying that they bribed them and gave the money to come back. I hope that's not true, and I hope that's not gonna happen. There does need to be some punishment. I feel like there might be some punishment, but I do feel like this will be a turning point in football of some sort. I don't think we're ever going fully back to normal. It's like COVID because Ed Woodward is leaving United. That's a massive thing for United fans. That's a like for the good side. That's a pretty good penalty. Agnelli has left Juventus. What a nonce he was, and the fact that all of these guys left their positions from the executive boards and stuff, that at least confirms the fact that they're never going to be re-elected to them ever again. Their careers in football are as good as over, honestly, in European football at least.
Yeah.
So that's something, I guess. I hope at other clubs things change as well. And I feel like we have to appreciate Red Bull, we have to appreciate Bayern, we have to appreciate PSG. I know, and I think one day we'll have the debate with maybe someone about, because I defend, um, or rather go against a lot of the stuff we see of football's finished and all that, about state ownership, about Red Bull, because I feel like that would be interesting. But I feel like at least in this one instance, we should appreciate those clubs and those people for the stand they took, because who knows without Bayern and PSG specifically where this Super League might be. We might be sitting in a completely different reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
And just before we move on to any other topic, I think that one of the things you said that you don't like that, obviously a lot of people don't like the way Red Bull Leipzig or Rasenball Sport Leipzig, I should say, are owned in Germany. But like Jesus, even they had have the balls to say no. I think that
yeah,
the
exactly.
whole world really, I think, should move towards a 50+1 model, where fans always have the final say. I think ultimately, sure, money can come in and out of football as it pleases. If investors want to invest in football, absolutely do so, but it should never be at the uh, I don't know what the word is for it, but it should never be against the fans' will, essentially. You know what I mean? Like they should never be doing
Yeah.
things outside of the fans' interest. The fans should always be the ones that have the ideas that move the football clubs forward. So I do hope that, you know, it seems like the FA in England are going to be pushed to kind of bring in that model or something similar, and I hope that everywhere kind of in the UEFA and the FIFA jurisdiction also follows.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I agree with you.
Okay, well, if we're done discussing this fraudulent European competition, we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, we Champions League thing is, I guess, what you're
That's what I was
talking
going
about.
towards. Um, Before we move on to that, actually, just want to say that
Yeah,
if there was any winner coming out of all of this, it was your Twitter account. how
it
many how
was
many followers did you gain? You and Anton were
for
on fire over the last
14
couple of days.
14,000, I believe. Yes.
14,000.
Yeah. Which is pretty insane, honestly. Um, it is.
That's
Yeah, it is pretty.
ridiculous.
There's no other way of saying it. Shout out Anton has done an amazing job. He put out more. I only can take credit for one tweet, which was the Champions League one with the bad Photoshop, um, which did pretty well. But
Look, Hanu, at the end of the day, you put it all on your CV. You say that you were the one that did it, so don't let anyone say any different.
yeah, that's true.
But moving
But
on.
no, yeah, it was good because it really took the pressure off um, the RPL, which never happened. This week the RPL didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, exactly. So yeah, moving on to the Champions League, like you said.
So moving
Um,
on to the new Champions League format, which also is not as fraudulent as the European Super League, but still pretty fucking fraudulent. There's spots that are going to be allocated based on clubs' history. Those clubs are going to be named as elite clubs, which is essentially the same.
it's really. I mean, it is, but it's not. I feel like there's still a lot more merit to it. So the thing is, you have 32 spots, right? I don't have a problem with the actual way the spots are being distributed. I have a problem more so with the league phase because I
Okay.
feel like that's going to be extremely boring. So you have 32 that are going to stay the same, the way they're distributed. Then you're going to have one club. You're going to have the team that finishes fourth in France that's going to come up, or the third in France actually. I think one of the two. And then the 33rd, 34th team is going to be a champion from, like, I think one extra country directly. It's not going to be top five. It's not going to be top five league. And the
Okay.
other two places will be given to clubs that had the highest coefficients over the past 5 years, but they can't be. But they've not qualified for the Champions League, but they've qualified for at least the Conference League or the Europa League.
Okay.
So if Liverpool finish 14th one season, they're still not going to grow up. I mean, they most likely it'll be an English club or Spanish club that finishes 6th or 7th, something like that.
Yeah.
But there's still some aspect of merit to it. So I
Okay.
don't really mind that. I think the format is perfect right now. It's really the league thing I don't like. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there is more merit to it than there obviously in the European Super League. So it's a better alternative, but I think the best format is the one that we have now. You know, I think that this kind of went under the radar because of all the stuff that's happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really a fan of it, to be honest. I saw that there was
Yeah.
talks as well of what was it, getting rid of coefficients. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read up on it, but I saw that there was talk of it. Did you see anything like that?
I think it was talk of this, yeah, it was talk of getting because the fans are emboldened now, so they want to get rid of the two extra slots.
Right.
Um, yeah, they want to get rid of those, which would be nice, you know,
Yeah,
be pretty
absolutely.
nice. Because the Champions League, I listen, man, I just hope the Conference League and Europa League become fun and better, and I hope they actually happen.
Yeah,
And
me
even
too.
with the Champions League, because UEFA said that the Champions League would go ahead regardless if these teams stayed in or not, and I would actually really like to see that.
That would be
I
cool.
would like to, yeah, that would be cool as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's what it is. Um, who do you think is going to win the Champions League? Were we there? Did we discuss that last week, or did we not? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. I mean, PSG. I still have faith
PSG.
that the other clubs are all gonna just get knocked out, and PSG
What if they don't get
win by
knocked out?
default. Well, then I'm gonna be supporting PSG anyway, which is not something I expected to be saying. But I hope they do. Like if the rest of the teams that are, left in the competition are left in the competition, they can continue to compete. I want
Yeah.
PSG to win. I think that it's the least they deserve for being one of the clubs that stood down against all of this. So even if it's not who I think is gonna win, that's what I want to win. So that's what I'm saying. So about you.
Well, who I want to win is probably an obvious answer, but I'm not. At this point in time, I don't care about it as much as I did
Hmm.
like 5 minutes after we beat Liverpool.
Yeah.
If we get knocked out, I'll be sad, but not that sad. Knocked out naturally. I mean, not naturally. Knocked out by UEFA. I think if we lose to Chelsea, that'll be annoying because I feel like we can win the competition this year.
Yeah.
Even though we have 12 players fit, literally 12 players fit. Yeah, I don't know. Um, I really don't know. Um, by the way, one massive fact or one massive news item that came out that got absolutely just covered within the rubble was your man Jos Marine leaving Tottenham,
Oh yeah.
and
I know.
what a fraud.
I'd
He's
liked to have believed that was him standing up to the the ESL, but
he's just shit.
yeah, like his recent results were pretty poor. But I didn't understand why they sacked him the week of the
Exactly that.
final.
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
That's what made me think that it had something to do with the ESL because like Jose Mourinho has a fantastic like resume when it comes to playing in finals, right? So
Yeah.
why? Why?
I don't know, man. I think Daniel Levy maybe he just got too emotional or something. I don't know.
Spurs are in some crazy spot now. They're not getting into Europe this season. They're
Yeah,
probably
and they
gonna
have
get kicked.
Ryan
They're
Mason
probably
as
gonna get
manager.
kicked
Remember?
out. They're like
Um,
they're frauds all around. Like they've lost their manager. They now have Ryan Mason in charge for the time being. They've got a stadium
yeah.
with no name. Like
Exactly. And the thing was that we were like, okay, who's going to save football? What's going to happen? And I'm saying, okay, Anieri left Juventus, Woodward left Man United. I'm not even going to mention Spurs because they're so irrelevant.
I
Like
don't even
football
think
is
they left the
never.
competition.
They were just
I
yeah.
think they may have just kind of like they saw that the other five English clubs were gone, so they're just kind of like, yeah,
Okay,
well,
yeah,
pretty much I guess we gotta say the same thing. I feel like
exactly. So
them and
it's
Arsenal were the only like them and Arsenal were probably the two closest teams to wanting to be in it. So
yeah, because they're both really irrelevant and useless now.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
right. What do you want to get to next? You want to get to cards or Russian football? Because this is a
Nah,
Russian football podcast.
let's keep it with the like pure football for now. We're moving
Okay.
away from like one of the leagues, or sorry, all the leagues and teams that were disappointing us over the last week, which is usually Russian teams.
Yeah.
It's usually Russian teams. So now we're moving on to Russian teams, which are actually the least disappointing of all the week, which is ridiculous to say. So Hanu, this weekend, who did you watch? I'm sure you watched Spartak. Let's talk about that one.
Let's not talk. It never happened. That game never happened. It didn't happen.
It looks
It
like
didn't happen.
honestly, it's almost like Spartak. Like just looking at that base result, if anyone didn't watch the game, they'd probably see Spartak got a red card. They probably got a red card for something bullshit in the first game, in the first 2 minutes, and had forfeited the game. That's why Ufa scored three. No, that's actually not what happened. Ufa actually beat them 3-0.
Listen, man, I'm just happy the European Super League happened because it could have been a rough week on Twitter. If not, I was generally struggling to like put tweets up and stuff. But then thankfully all that happened and now no one really cares anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Well, you weren't the only
but
Moscow team who suffered an upset. Sochi beat CSKA too.
that's not an upset. This is not an
Fair.
upset. CSK
Fair.
had trash, and I pray to God they're going to lose this weekend because for the past two weekends from a Spartak perspective have been draining for me.
Yeah.
Loko were like okay, good team, but in this time Tedesco even said it. Um, Played like children. He said that I'm not saying anything on my own. We were bad. We were
Yeah.
bad. It's a terrible performance. One of the worst I've ever seen in football probably. But it's sad. I still believe in the team. I still believe that they can get third place, maybe second. Anything less than that would be pretty disappointing. But yeah, man,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
a,
for
it's a
sure,
bit rough.
they still have a chance, but you see Locomotive's form. Like, you've been calling it since the
Locomotive,
start of or since a couple of games past the winter break, that Locomotive are the strongest team in the league right now. And
best team in
it's
Russian football
hard.
history,
Yeah,
best
it's
team in the
really hard
world.
to argue it when you're looking at their form. 5 wins in the last 5 RPL games. How are they getting
Fam,
on now? They're winning
10
2-0
wins.
against CSKA in the cup.
10 wins in 10 games since
10
the
win
winter break.
10 wins in 10 games. 11 wins
Yes.
in 11 games when this is over.
No, this will be the 10th.
Oh, right, okay.
And they've got like Tambo or some nonce this weekend. So that's 11 in 11. Like Zenit are the only team that might beat them or hold them to a draw. I think Zenit are going to get plonked in that game as well.
Yeah.
Um, but no, man, they're my favorites for the league next season. Just from going off how things are right now, Kamano and Smolov have become insane footballers, and it's just you have to give credit to Baldy, man. What a manager!
You do.
And I think
You really do.
anyone that still believes in Yuri Semin needs to get their head checked, needs to admit themselves to a local infirmary or something. But I think Artem, we have to talk about a club that needs to be liquidated right now. I think I won't be mad if UEFA don't sanction the 12 clubs, but if they just knocked Krasnodar out of football, I would celebrate. I have, I hate Krasnodar. I despise that club.
For anyone wondering why Hanu hates Krasnodar, I'm sure you all remember the game already, but
No,
um,
I
Krasnodar.
hate them for everything. This season they have been terrible, and I hate them because they're always on the brink of something. They were
That's true.
winning 2-0 until the 74th minute. They didn't just show up and lose 6-0. They didn't even show up and just lose 1-0. They went 2-0 up against Zenit and bottled it again. I
Yeah,
hate them.
it's a bit outrageous, to be honest. I was absolutely shocked to see Zenit come back because, like, just I don't know. It's just a bit of a ridiculous result from Krasnodar. When you're that far into the game, you're 2-0 up, and it's not like it's a one-way game or anything for Zenit. They should have really finished it off.
They really should have, man. It's like I don't know how you don't finish it off from that position. It's something only Krasnodar can achieve. It's
On the
it's
bright
only
side,
something.
it's a better result against Zenit than what they usually get.
Yeah, exactly. It's. I'm glad they didn't bottle it and lose 4-2. But still, they're an awful club. What's the table looking like at the moment?
The
Because we've
table
got a
is
derby this weekend.
looking pretty tasty. Do you know, I'm really happy to see Ruben up there. They could come third.
They could come third. I don't think they will, but they could.
I don't think they will either. Well, actually, do you know what? Like, it's between them and Spartak, really. I feel like that's the race for third place now. And, like, CSKA, I just see them falling to, Jesus, 6th or 7th.
Sixth, please, sixth. Yeah, as low as possible.
Yeah, like, if Sochi have a few good games, then it could be even 7th. But I'm kind of hoping it will finish Zenit, Lokomotiv, Ruben, Spartak, and then, well, anything after that's probably not
Yeah,
going
I
to matter
think.
because of something we're going to get onto in a minute. But
Yeah, I mean, I just pray that Spartak win the derby this weekend, and also because they've got Akhmat, Khimki, and Arsenal in their final three games, which is all tricky games.
yeah,
Those are all tricky games. So I just need some good performances to wrap the season up. Hope that Loko bottle, but it looks unlikely.
I tell you what,
Um,
Sunday is looking like a serious day in football. Spartak are
what's on
playing
Sunday?
against CSKA, and Ruben are playing against Krasnodar.
Yeah,
That
that
is tasty.
that Ruben Krasnodar game is gonna have goals at least.
Yeah, for sure. It's got to.
It's gonna have, yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, it's exciting, man, but it's also stressful now because I have an investment in a club. Like it was a lot more fun just memeing and not really caring and just like seeing where things take you. But now it's a bit different. Um, but yeah, the cup. I know you've been anxious to get to the cup. It's been recording 43 minutes. Artem has been patiently waiting to talk about the cup.
I've
So
been
yeah,
waiting for this
Artem,
my
give
whole
a-
life.
give us an update.
My boys. My boys. Krylia. My boys. They're in the
Yes, and
final.
and
It was
we
a terrible match against Ahmad
it
too.
was bad.
It
Yeah,
was a terrible match. Ahmad looked like the better team in the first half. There wasn't really a better team in the second half. There's no extra time apparently in these
which is a
games.
nice thing actually.
Which I actually wasn't pissed off at all about that. I was happy to see it go straight to penalties, and they were just great. Yevgeny Frolov came on, as did Tim Krul in the World Cup all
Tim
those years
Krul.
ago. You remember that though, don't you?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
I was
So.
supporting the Netherlands in that World Cup for some reason. I
Well.
was crying. I was like properly crying when they were losing to Mexico. And then
Mhm.
when Arjen Robben got that penalty, it was like the top of the world to me. Because until I started like getting into Russian football, World Cups were an identity crisis for me. Because India are not going to be there,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, who do I support? I just took the Netherlands for some reason. And it went well.
Well, respect. But either way, same thing that happened there happened here. Frolov saved a penalty from Yanko first, and then Bernard Berisha. Oh my
With the worst
days.
penalty I've ever seen.
The worst penalty ever. Like, look, if it had gone in, it would have been a good penalty. It's Panenka, but he did, like, Frolov just knew exactly what he was doing.
And you know what? Yeah, I knew as soon as Bernard Berisha was like walking up, I knew he was going to miss. Because Bernard Berisha is such a chaotic footballer
Yeah.
he can never make the right decision. Like that match against Dinamo is the worst and the best performance I've ever seen from a football player on the pitch, because he was at the center of every attack, but he missed at least 20 clear cut chances. And it's the same here. Is that this guy is that player. You know how they talk about a raw player? This man is like nearly 30 years old and he's still raw. So he's one of them. But I mean, Krylia, congratulations. We did predict this. We predicted both games correctly.
We predicted,
Krylia
but
to win.
well, the other game could still change. I doubt it.
It's not. It's not going to change.
Oh
It's not
Jesus,
going
so
to change.
Lako scored an own goal. So yeah, that's CSKA's season is just
3-0
getting
by the way.
worse and worse.
Krakowiak scored, so it's 3 now.
Did he?
Um,
Olic
yes, he
out.
is. I don't even know why Olic was in, but it looks like a really bad decision now. CSK season is falling apart. Good. Yeah. Who do you think is going to win the final though?
Well, you know who I'm going to be supporting. Who I think is going to win is Lokomotiv. Like, we just talked about them going 10 out of 10 games. Like, you kind of fancy them to win, but it's like in a final it could go either way. And I think that most people are going to be supporting Krylia just because we've seen Lokomotiv win the cup in the past, in the past years, and Krylia coming from the FNL are going to win the FNL, and coming up from there could go straight to the Europa League. That would be something really, really special, and I really fucking hope it happens. Like more than Florentino Perez wanted the ESL, I want Krylia to get into the Europa League for next season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. I think it would be super fun to see them in Europe, in the Europa League or whatever. I don't know how well it would go, but I think they'd give a decent account of themselves. It can't be more disappointing than seeing Krasnodar or CSKA in the Europa League.
That's the
So
thing, especially like if you're counting how Dinamo did this season. Like,
so bad.
yeah, it could always be worse.
Exactly. So it would be fun, but I think Loko are going to do it just because they're ruthless, they're cup merchants, and I think the following season they're going to be doing pretty well in the Europa League.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's that we have. That's what we have on the cup.
Okay.
CSK battered.
Battered.
Yes.
We actually, do you know,
Battered.
last week we said that Lokomotiv are going to win and way more comfortably than what most people think, and I think this
Yeah,
is exactly
and
the result we were talking about.
exactly.
Like,
It was
jeez Christ, what is going on here?
Artem's internet is dead.
Is it my internet? There we go.
No, he's back. It's back. It's back.
So,
Yeah.
that's the story. There we go.
3-0 win for Loko, Kamano, Bliakov, and Krakowiak with the goals.
Big up.
Fair enough. Big up.
Okay. And then the last section of our podcast today is just absolute some fraudery that me and Hanu have been witnessing on Twitter.
Yes.
And Hanu sent me this originally, right? This account. It's called SoRare, but for anyone who doesn't know what SoRare is, it's essentially a website where you can buy these trading cards, online trading cards, right? Essentially, like, I don't know, like, not match attacks, but those kind of collectible cards that there's like one out of, like, there's like say 100 issues of each player. And Hanu was mentioning that, like, if you own specific players, you can get certain rewards and stuff like that. But
It's like fantasy. It's like fantasy football combined with trading cards. That's what it is, and it's all online.
okay, there you go. That's a good explanation. But look at the prices these guys are selling for. $400 for Chris Seitz, right? Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Neither have I. $400 for Shinosuke Hatanaka. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Exactly.
Not heard of the next guy either.
Exactly. There's like all these players are going for like 400 or 500 quid. Like, if you look at players who are actually good, Robert Lewandowski, he went for 1.7 Ethereum, which is $4,216, right?
Yes.
For an online card which has 100 issues, right?
Yes.
100 issues.
Yes.
Absolutely outrageous. If you look at, let's say, like, this is the example I was talking about, right? Messi. This is actual physical card. Okay, you can't play the online fantasy football game with it or whatever, right? But this is a cool Messi card. Mint condition, right? 9 out of 10. And this is, as far as I'm aware, 100 issue as well. So it's as rare as
Yeah.
this Lewandowski card. And it's gone for 1,300. And you can have that card, which you can physically have in your hands, in your, like, you could see this card in your hands, right? And it's gone for 3 times less than that Lewandowski card. If you're looking for something similarly priced, right, you can go for this David Beckham card, right? This David
Yeah.
Beckham card with David Beckham's signature from his Man United times. Once again, 9 out of 10, right? And this only has 10 issues. So this is so much rarer than this Lewandowski card. And I get that the Lewandowski card is like, you know, verifiable because it's on the blockchain. I understand that you can play fantasy football with it. But if I'm looking for a collectible, that David Beckham
Yeah.
card is 1 of 10. And it's physical. It's got his autograph on it. Why would I choose the Lewandowski thing over this? And like that's
It's
what
mental.
just what outrages me about all this, to be honest.
It's honestly pretty mental. It's like we've spoken about NFTs in the past. I feel like part of it is just part of NFT stuff. Um,
It's hype.
people bet.
It's absolute hype. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I see that NFTs have a future. I see that the technology is there. Like, blockchain
Yeah.
technology in general is absolutely genius technology, and it's going to be used for millions of things in the future. It's going to be used for contracts. It's going to be used for so many other things, right? The NFT craze. Look,
Yeah.
I think that there, like I said, I think that there is a use for NFTs. But people are
Yes.
just buying things for the sake of buying things at this point and hoping that this is going to get them a return in the future. Oh my days, like, Jesus Christ. Like, this David Beckham, if you had this David Beckham card in your house, right, you could show people and be like, look at this, this is a signed autograph of David Beckham. There's only 10 of these cards in the world. On the planet, only 10 of these have ever been made, and mine is in mint condition. How many are
Yeah.
there out there in mint condition? Yours might be the only one. If you have
Exactly.
this, like, sure, everyone on the blockchain can see it. It's a flex. Like, you know, your name comes up on the Twitter that you bought it for this amount or whatever. But like, shit, you can get some fucking fantasy football points. You know, you get extra bonuses or whatever for it. But at the end of the day, you're spending $4,500 on this. Oh man, my car didn't cost $4,500. And I've got so many more use cases for my car than this Robert Lewandowski card. I understand that the people who are buying this clearly aren't wanting or needing for money, but it just seems outrageous to me.
It is. Yeah. Maybe there's something we're missing. I don't think there is. By the way.
I don't think there is either.
Yeah.
Like I get the point of, like, say if it was a 1 of 10. If it was a 1 of 10, I could kind of see the 4,000, maybe if there was some other use case for it. But
There
when it's
are
1 out of
actually
100, 100 isn't rare. Like, rare.
there's
It's not hard
there's
to get 100, like, you know, a 1 of 100 thing, especially when it's up here. Like,
there's 1/1/10s in this, and there's 1/1. Actually, look at the most recent entry on that. Look at the most
okay,
recent entry on that.
right. 1 of 1.
Look at the
See,
most.
the 1 of 1 I absolutely get because no one else can own it.
Yeah,
No
but see
one
that
else can
see
own
that
this
card.
card.
See what's up with him.
Yeah, here
Maybe
we
it's
go.
some performance thing, because I know that it's like there's a fantasy aspect to it, so maybe that's putting the price up. Maybe it's not as simple as a lot of other nonsensical NFTs where it's literally nothing,
Yeah,
but it does still seem to be a bit extortionate.
yeah. No,
And
absolutely, it is. Like, okay, you can see it on the blockchain there. Yeah, only been transacted once.
not really as glamorous as an actual card.
No, it's
Must be
not. No,
said.
but to be fair, look, Hanu, that looks like cool. That looks like the informs back in the day FIFA, right? But
Yeah,
like, here is clearly this is the bonus that he gets, right? That's the
yeah,
bonus he gets for fantasy football. So it's
yeah,
just extra points you get in fantasy football, and maybe there's some kind of financial incentive at the end of this like at the end of this fantasy football game that makes it worth it. But I can't see it, especially for a player like this. Like, it is cool to say that you're the sole owner of a guy like this on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, that is cool, right? When it's 1 out of 100, I don't get it. When it's 1 out of 10, I can kind of get it.
Maybe.
Yeah, like, I feel like, I don't know. It just seems like if I was going to get something that's like there's 100 copies of, I'd want it to be 100 copies of something that's physical.
Rare.
Because
And physical, yeah.
if it's physical, then those are all distributed all across the world, right? If it's
Yeah.
on the blockchain, you can see all 100 of those and where they are. Doesn't feel as
Yeah.
rare, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't.
And that's my little rant.
And
I
this
wanted to
thing-
bring that up today.
No, it's completely fine. And this SoRare thing is extremely popular because the RFN account gets so many DMs. Like these guys are like FPL merchants or they are like football index merchants. You know how rabid football index fans were?
Yeah.
Look how that ended. So it's like these guys are like that. So I don't know, man. There must be something to it that's really making it popular.
I'm just wondering,
yeah.
like, can like, are there Russian players in this?
Yeah, there's lots of RPL players in this.
Alright, let's just create a monopoly of the RPL players then.
We're gonna
I
need
actually,
a fair bit of
do you know
money.
what? You know what? I really want to sign in. I'm going to sign in on my phone because I don't want to, I think the details are going to come up. But I'm going to see how much RPL players go for. Do you want to just have a guess in the meantime? Like,
Okay.
first of all, do you know of any RPL players that are on it for sure?
Yeah, go for Zelen Khan Bakayev.
Zelhan, Jesus Christ! Here I don't want to do all this.
You're gonna have to do your whole login things and stuff. But no, I know that
I just
Spartak are fully
you
licensed,
gotta
Loko are fully
create a-
licensed.
You gotta create a wallet and all that stuff, which is just makes sense. Whatever.
Zenit, I
Skip
think,
all
are
of this
fully
stuff right now.
licensed.
Just let me skip. I don't want to make the club right now.
Artem is going through bureaucracy live on air.
Just continue.
But-
Whatever.
Yeah,
This is outrageous. All right, now I can search.
Finally.
Zelenhan Bakayev, right?
he did a speed run of an account.
I did honestly, and it's actually it's funny because if I can't imagine myself wanting to use this, but if I do want to use this, I feel like I've just completely fucked myself over.
Yeah.
Let's see his cards. You can buy Zelenhan Bakayev if you want for a rare 1 of 100 for about €46,
Okay.
which seems actually pretty reasonable to me.
Yeah.
If you want to get the 1 in 10, the super rare, there's only 10 issues of it. It's about $400 or it's €400,
Yeah.
right? Let's see, is there a unique one?
Wait, when you're googling this, I mean not googling, when you're searching these, are they all like coming up like eBay where there's lots of different buyers, or is
Yeah,
it just a fixed price?
That's exactly. Do you know what? I think actually.
'Cause there was-
Let me try and do this. And Hanu, you made my account. I can just look it up, right? So Bakayev.
Right. Let's have a look.
Yeah. So it comes up as all the listings. Like, so I was naming the cheapest listings for each, right? So €46. There you
Yeah.
go. If you want to go for the more rare ones, here you go.
Yeah.
€400. That's the most. I don't know why some of them have. Oh, this is from last season.
Yeah.
So there's ones for each season as well. So for this season, if you want to get the 1 out of 10, it's about €400. Any other Russian players? Are there any other Russian players? Here we go.
There's mad Russian players.
Kolomaitsev. Do you want Kolomaitsev of 1 of 100?
I don't want Kolomaitsev. Look at how expensive Fedor Chalov is. That's a grind. It's a cool grind there.
Let's see who's gone for the highest price.
Oh, what? Nah, click on that Zobnin. There has to be something. Why isn't Korodov going? That Zobnin has to have some sort of mods or something. Like, I mean,
He's
not mods,
unique.
but
That's
like
the thing.
some-
Okay, look.
This guy brought it for 985.
Yeah. So look, Hopium. I think it's the same guy. This guy Hopium. He's just buying them all, I guess, because I think I saw his name on there, a few of them. But that's actually fucking hilarious. He's just like, he's hoping that someone buys that. No one's gonna buy it for that price. But look at these listed prices, guys, right?
20 grand, by
20
the way.
grand for Roman Zobnin, 20 grand for Lee Savoy, 20 grand for Mario
Wait.
Fernandez.
Go on the entire market. I think you can do that and see who's the most expensive player on this platform. Let's buy
Okay,
that.
okay, I will. But let me just say, right, last week we looked at a piece of real estate. For how much, Hanu? 7,000
Seven and a
euros.
half.
You can
Yes.
buy a house in the Krasnodar Krai in Russia for 7,000 euros. Or you can buy one of these for two and a
You
half
can.
times that
It's sure
price.
that Pakistani plot was less than this. I'm sure it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, yeah. Okay, hang
Yeah,
on.
that's mental. But
So
see if
I'm
you
gonna
can.
follow this. I'm gonna follow this, and I'm gonna update people as things go on. Like, look at this, Matvesa Fona. Do you know what? That's never actually gonna get sold because it's one of 100. So Tormans. Like, I want to see, like, is there ones that show like the highest bid ending soon? Let's see if there's any ending soon that have actually been bid on. Like, there's no
Nah,
way anyone's paying that for
yeah.
Gorodov. Like, someone paid 600 euro for Gorodov. That's already
Yeah.
the most stupid investment I've ever seen. Fyodor Smolov, someone paid 800 for him.
See, I want to see what's the most expensive thing on this entire platform.
How do I check that though? Because I can't
I think
actually like
go on market. Go on market. Home.
transfer
Okay,
market.
that didn't work. Okay, maybe see transfer market.
Bundles hottest. You can get bundles.
See these are they bundles? I guess see these ones are like centralized. I imagine. Oh, there we are.
Okay, here we
Yes,
go.
yes. Nah, that's insane. This
Well,
podcast is
no,
over.
do you know these
No,
are
no. That's insane.
no. Hanu, no one's
Two
bidding that much
million.
on this. No
I
one's
don't
bid.
care.
No, but that's purely like someone listing a bronze player for like 1 million on FIFA.
Is
That's
that
insane.
Maradona?
Yeah.
What's he doing there? R.I.P. Maradona, by the way, always.
Yeah. Anyways, what we'll do is we'll look at the unique ones and we'll actually be able to probably see some that are actually going for something. There's no way these are going for that. There's no way
A
Fekir.
Cristiano Ronaldo SoRare card sold for $290,000.
Okay, well there you go. That's kind of
It
more
was
realistic.
it was a unique one though.
Yeah, that's so like say Martin Odegaard. I saw him somewhere. He's not on the last page. It's like say Martin Odegaard. I feel like people would probably buy him for a lot. Like he was previously bought for about 6,000, and this person's trying to sell him for 80,000. No one's gonna make.
Eh,
No one's gonna fucking buy him for that. Let's be honest.
yeah, thankfully not.
Yeah, but
But
like I guess if you see any big players here, right?
I do like the fact on this that there's only really 3 or 4 types of rarities. Like I think there's 10 common cards they're saying. Then there's rare, then there's super rare, and there's unique.
Yeah,
It's not like the NBA thing where there's wild numbers. It's only 110 and one, which
yeah,
I guess I can
exactly.
respect.
No, I do like that to be fair. But look at this. Victor Claassen went from 1,350. Like this shit is just out of control. And guys, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to end the podcast on this. Just
Yeah, I'm
purely
sure you
because
guys
I've
were
got.
really enjoying this.
I was just gonna say because I've got less than a minute of recording time left on my voice, so I could cut off at any
Yikes.
second. So I'm just gonna wrap it up, guys. If you
Yeah.
did enjoy this episode, please leave a like. Let us know how much you'd pay for these super cards, and let us know what you think of the ESL and the new Champions League format. We will see you all next week.